Everybody, welcome to Matt Man, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Adrian Zane. I'm joined by, I don't know if you guys know this, the new power forward to the New York Knicks, Rich Stambolian.
I'm on the team, baby, at 43 years old. It's my dream come true. I've been working very hard for this. And I'm going to slam dunk. I'm going to do my first slam dunk on my first game.
At the Garden?
Just keep going. At the Garden. I'm going to do an old school Shaquille O'Neal and just destroy the backboard.
Oh, man, that would make my day. Oh, my gosh. We have not been here. We have been here, but I've been in a very minimal functioning state. It's been brutal. This gout that I've been fighting. I'm off. I did all the meds, and it's still terrible.
Are you still in pain?
Oh yeah. I mean, nothing like it was. Nothing like it was. But it's still not fun. I'm down to 159 pounds. I stopped all my gimmicks. I stopped all my medics. I stopped all my vitamins. I stopped working out. I plummeted.
That's wild, dude.
Not fun though. Not in a good way. So I'm on my on the mend here now. I'm on my road to recovery.
You need to eat a sandwich today.
You know what I had yesterday? I had a press sandwich last night.
Oh, very nice. What'd you get?
I had a 38, and I had a little bit of Hunter's Burger.
38 is the steak and chimichurri?
No, the steak and avocado.
Oh, very nice. Can we take a minute to acknowledge something in the chat room here?
Yeah.
Armand says, personal news, April 12th was my 3-year weight loss anniversary. When I started, I weighed 484 pounds. Now I weigh 287 pounds. 197 pounds lost. Congratulations, Armand.
That's awesome. Incredible, actually.
That's fantastic, man.
That's a life-changing amount of weight to lose.
Good job, man. I hope you feel great.
That's incredible. Really incredible.
He did starve.
He did, yeah. Egger starve. It works, see?
Egger starve. He did starve.
He did starve. Where are we going? Let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start off with some sad news?
Yeah, we might as well. Mongo McMichael passes away at 67 years old. If you don't remember him, Pro Football Hall of Famer and former WCW wrestler and commentator, part of the Horsemen in '98.
Part of the Horsemen, part of that legendary Chicago Bears team in the 80s. Yep. He had ALS. He had Lou Gehrig's disease, and he fought it for a while. I know that he wanted to see... He fought it for 4 years. It is a debilitating disease that you cannot escape. It's terrible. He wanted to go into that NFL Hall of Fame, and he did. Incredible career. Incredible career. You know, I remember... Careers. I mean, 2 careers, yeah. And, you know, the time frame that he wrestled, it was not a long period of time. A couple of years he was around, but he really had an impact.
Yeah.
You know, Steve Mongo McMichael's passed it away, 67 years old. Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah, very sad. R.I.P.
Yeah.
They honored him at the draft last night, too. So.
They what? Oh, did they? Good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
WWE announces the acquisition of AAA. Now this is fascinating. I don't think people thought this was happening.
This is wild, especially when they revealed it at WrestleMania with all the Latin superstars.
Yeah.
Who I think wrestled in AAA. Like this, would you consider this kind of like a coup? A lot of people have tossed the word monopoly out there, and I'm using air quotes because I think that's ridiculous.
So the story was that they were actually looking to sell for some time now. Mm-hmm. There's a report out that they've already told their talent to work more of an American style and start learning English to help them, grow within this new acquired brand. I'm very curious to see where AAA goes.
Oh yeah.
I'm very curious to see how they do this. Like, are they going to treat this like a developmental? Are they going to keep it independently running the way that it is? Is it going to start airing now on Peacock, or where would they put this? I'm curious. Yeah. Would I be able to access this on YouTube? Because AAA content is not readily available in North America. It never has been.
It's hard. Right. It's hard to find.
Very difficult to find for most people.
Triple H and the presser after mentioned that he has no intention of changing it. Just make it better.
What does that mean?
I think we talked about that on Sunday. What does that mean? I understand. But, we
Bigger
talked
production.
on Sunday, Andrew, about the production. Yeah.
I'm curious to see where this goes. In addition to that, they announced Worlds Collide with AAA. The show's set for Saturday, June 7th at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. That's a big building that they're hoping to hit.
Yeah.
With NXT versus AAA. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. I think this is going to lead to like more eyes on the Mexican product,
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, listen, if it makes the product more accessible for people to discover, I think that's a plus. I don't find a problem with that. I'm just curious what this means. What this means for, we saw that picture of The Rock with the Rubik's Cube. He's still trying to solve that fucking thing, and that's why he wasn't there on Sunday, dude.
Oh, Dwayne.
He started, Dwayne. The thing about him is he can't ever shift, gears. Once he starts a project, he has to see it through, and that's really the reason. He did not think a Rubik's Cube would be that hard. While wearing his New Japan shirt. But, WWE wanted to buy Noah years ago. 8 years ago, they were going to buy Noah. And I was told by somebody there that that was what they wanted to do. They wanted to acquire Noah and make that into, the Japanese territory for them during that expansion, that global expansion thing that Triple H wanted to do. But Noah kind of used them for leverage and negotiated a better deal. So I don't know. Would New Japan sell? Japanese companies generally do not like selling to non-Japanese companies.
Yeah. But also, do you think it makes sense for New Japan to sell now? Especially because so many people have left.
Yeah.
It's not what it was a few years ago. The match quality is still there, but they're missing that oomph,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what their business really is like financially. I know that they're not as hot. Obviously, they're not as hot as they used to be. They've lost all their big stars. Tanahashi's retiring. Okada's gone. Yota Tsuji's, he's coming up, but he's still not at that level. 2016 really began the I guess the mass migration of New Japan talent.
Annexing.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Annexing, yeah. I mean, they slowly within, a couple of years lost a lot of people. And then the pandemic really, they have not really recovered since that. Because they kept that going for a while with very limited crowds, and it just never picked up. So we'll see. WWE announced a Survivor Series at Petco Park in San Diego. This will take place November 28th. This is an outdoor stadium.
Yeah.
First time Survivor Series would be done in an outdoor stadium, but it's San Diego. 78, 76 and gorgeous year round. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's a safe bet for them.
Yeah, November 29th. That's pretty cool. Listen, I like seeing shows at outdoor stadiums, and I also I finally got through that WrestleMania 9 documentary.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I love the documentary. I thought it was such an interesting take on it because of how it starts out with we have 30 full tapes of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. You know what I discovered from that, okay? And a lot of this is, not so much revisionist history, but you end up looking at things through a different lens when you were constantly told something. What we were told is that was a terrible show, right? That has always been said, that WrestleMania 9 was really one of the worst WrestleManias. And it very possibly is. Not a great show at all. But watching it as a kid, I love that show as a kid.
Yes,
as a kid, child,
I loved it too.
I loved it, and that's really who they were catering for at that point.
Yeah.
I love that they had, Julius Caesar and Cleopatra come out.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Heenan is riding the camel backwards.
Macho Man coming out looking like a Jim Henson puppet.
But yeah, he's in his Liberace best.
Yeah.
Hogan comes out, wins the title. I mean, everything was catering to an 8-year-old with that show. And as an 8-year-old, I freaking loved it. I thought it was a great show. Now, watching it later on in life, I'm like, oh yeah, that was terrible. But in what lens was it terrible? I found that was interesting to me. That watching it now, I was like, oh, of course I liked this as a kid. I get it.
Well, I think especially when it comes to WWF, when we were kids, you know, like you look back at that stuff and you're like, of course I love this. Like you just said, you know, like, of course we loved Hogan winning because it's Hogan, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you watch that documentary and you see the Bret Hart thing and, you know, him, they took like a little beat and he was like, this is the biggest betrayal Vince has ever done on me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, what about Montreal? You know, like poor Bret. It just like, like I'm a Bret sympathizer.
Yeah. you're sipping for breath. For breath.
For breath.
Oh, hello, breath. Bret Hart. He was the other one.
I'm a Bret Hart sympathizer, man. I feel like that guy was done dirty so many times in his
poor
career.
guy.
You know,
poor guy.
It's all Hogan's fault.
WWE touts WrestleMania 41 as the most financially successful event in the company's history. Really? You don't say. With the ticket prices. Somebody got a $30,000 front row ticket.
Oof.
Oh my God.
Why?
Night 1 or night 2 or just like 2 nights?
I don't know. I saw it online. It really doesn't even matter. WWE announced as a combination of 124,693. This was the largest gate ever for WWE. They did not disclose the exact gate figure, but previous record was estimated at nearly 40 million for WrestleMania 40 in Philly. So this would be higher than that.
Wow.
Wild.
You skipped
one night.
The Netflix show.
What did I skip? How do you know I didn't want to talk about it?
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you force me to talk about this?
I don't care. Yeah. That's how we're doing.
There's there was a trailer for an Unreal docuseries. What is this about?
I'm just curious what you guys think about it. It's
about the writing room. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, the curtain is already pulled back so much. So does it even matter?
You know, I think, you know, the argument that a lot of people had was like, oh, WWE is now fully ruining the business. I don't think so. I think this is going to bring more people in on it. And I still don't think they're going to reveal everything. You know how, again, revisionist history, right? They're not going to give you 100%. They'll give you maybe 50%. But then, there's that 50% that's the minutia that we will never, ever see in pro wrestling.
I get it. I get what they want to do. I don't know how I feel. Like I like that there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors here. I like that a little bit of the curtain is not pulled back. But this is a spectacle. And what again, back to WrestleMania 9, watching WrestleMania 9 and then watching WrestleMania from this weekend, you realize this company is this was it glorified Vince's vision glorified to the max.
Oh yeah.
This is exactly what Vince always wanted for WrestleMania. It is a big mainstream crossover event of a fun entertainment product.
Yeah.
Not guys in their underwear wrestling in a smoky building.
Right. Which was always the opposite of WWF.
Which is always the opposite. So this is what he told you he was going to do. This is not pro wrestling anymore, no matter how many times they call it that. It is sports entertainment. It is a variation of wrestling. You have Bloodsport. That catches can style of wrestling is a variation of professional wrestling. You have AEW.
Right.
You have New Japan. These are all different variations, different presentations, and this is what WWE does. They do big picture cinema level production in a pro wrestling setting.
Yeah. And listen, it's clearly working for them. This war machine is not stopping anytime soon, And I think, like something like this is interesting because as a fan, like I love watching documentaries in general, but being able to see a writer's room is kind of cool. Even though they probably say like, hey, we don't want so-and-so on camera. We don't want this guy on camera. Like this guy's a problem, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. Interesting. WrestleMania results and thoughts. Overall, what did you think, Rich? Fun show.
Yeah. I loved it. Listen, again, we watch wrestling a certain way, so that night 1, I had an extremely long day. I was stuck in traffic on the way home for like 3 hours. By the time I got in, put it on, melted into the couch, had some tacos. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Night 2, it was Greek Easter. I did 3 Easters.
Yeah, you did. You had 3, huh? Wow.
I had 3 Easters. I did my folks. I went to Alex's, and then I went to the in-laws, and I brought my iPad to my in-laws because they don't have a smart TV, right? So I was like, hey, Helen, this is my mother-in-law. I was like, I don't want to be rude, but I kind of want to watch WrestleMania. Can I just put this on for background noise, right? And guess what? Every single person there was staring at my iPad, just watching the whole show. And
amazing,
loved it.
Right? That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. I would say, I don't want to spend too much time on the stars because there's a lot that we got to talk about, but
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer's star ratings came out, and let's see if we agree with this. By the way,
Sure.
Dave was vindicated.
How so? Finally?
Finally. What he said about The Rock. He told everybody The Rock was not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And The Rock called bullshit. He literally said that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And it turned out The Rock was never going to be there.
The Rock's appearance on Pat McAfee's show, you guys should check out. It's very interesting. It was also the very familiar backtracking he did when Black Adam tanked.
Is it? Oh, really? Was it the same?
It was pretty much the same. Like, he's just making the same argument in a different way. And also when he did that weirdo Hawaii thing with Oprah. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the classic Dwayne backtracking. But you know, he did say something very astute during that McAfee interview, which was, hey, listen, pro wrestling's a work. From top to bottom, it's 100% a work. So, there's your excuse.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, there's your excuse.
Well, but what does that mean? Like, you presented something to people, you set their expectations to a certain level, and then you're like, no, I never said I was going to be there, and I only showed up because the ticket sales were poor for Elimination Chamber, and that's not true at all.
Right.
The tickets were moving really well for Elimination Chamber. So
he told a bad story.
He told a bad story. We'll talk about a little bit more in the main event. But Dave Meltzer gives Jey Uso, Gunther 3.75 stars.
Yeah, it's a fun match. Yeah.
2.75 for the New Day and the War Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Jade and Naomi got 2. United States Championship. And I really like this match, night 1. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. 3.75 for that one as well. El Grande Americano and Rey Fenix has got 2.75.
Yep.
Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, oy vey, 1.75.
Oy vey.
Dave gave it an oy vey.
Yeah.
Triple threat match, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, 4.75 stars for that match.
What a great match, too.
That was a great match. Yeah, fantastic match. Those guys.
Great match.
It was such a if you really look at the match and you watch it the way it was, it really felt like a throwback triple threat match.
Yes.
It wasn't a modern way they did it. They did it the old way.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm curious who was the agent on that. I probably MG could find that. I loved it. I thought it was good. It's a creation of something new with Paul Heyman. And we saw that continue on Raw. We'll talk about that. Night 2, Stephanie McMahon comes out, does the introduction. You got Cole, you got Wade Barrett, and you got Pat McAfee on commentary. This match was the match of the night. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky for the Women's Championship. This was fantastic, this match. Rhea Ripley is incredible. Bianca Belair is incredible. Io Sky was incredible. 5-star match.
Fantastic match. And I was honestly shocked that Io Sky retained, especially because you're up against like 2 heavy hitters in Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. But fantastic match.
Yeah, I very much like this match. They did great. You got a Sin City fight. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. This got 4.25.
Yeah.
Dave really liked this match.
Dave loves big boys.
And a lot of there was a lot of complaint here because Drew really dominated this match.
Yes.
But I think he had to. He had to be in that position here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was good. You got the open challenge, Randy Orton and Joe Hendry. He gave this a dud.
He gave this a dud. You know what? That was a fun match. I was thinking, obviously, it was more of a highlight and spotlight for Joe Hendry because he was doing the interview circuit and he was like, and then John Cena came up to me and said, "You're going to be all right, kid." And then somebody else came up to me and said, "You're going to be all right, kid." And then somebody, so like it was definitely for him. I do think that Randy should show up in TNA and just RKO everybody on the roster.
I would love that. I would love that.
Goes from the Legend Killer to the TNA Killer.
That's so good. So good. So you had Logan Paul and AJ Styles. This got 2 stars. Dave did not like this.
Doesn't like Logan Paul. Makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then look at this. You ready for this?
Yeah.
John Cena, Cody, he gave it 1.75 stars. Oof. He did not like this match. I did not either.
Flat.
It was flat. It was
flat. Yeah.
Flat. It was, even without The Rock, it was flat. This match was flat. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
just something off, right? Like something off. I think it was. We also skipped the Intercontinental match, by the way.
That was good.
I thought that was for me. That was match of the night. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, where is that?
And,
what did he give this one?
4.25.
Is it not on there? Okay.
Oh no, there it is. Yeah, 4.25. Yeah, this was very good.
Yeah. Do you think, as I watched both nights twice, like I rewatched everything, do you think the main event of night 2 is flat because Cena was trying to work that heel character and it just wasn't coming off good? Because I feel like there's that fine line, right? Because you have, let's say, I'm going to use Hogan as an example, right? Yeah. When Hogan turned heel, he wasn't a cool guy. He was still goofy Hogan.
Yeah, no, I actually like Cena's heel position. I like the way he's cutting these promos. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I watched that match again because I did not think it was this bad that it's a 175 match, right? Like, and I watched it. I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I was watching with the kids, so it's a little bit different. And then The Rock doesn't show up, so you're kind of it's anticlimactic. So like so I watched it a second time at work, and I think the reason why Dave gave this is that the entire match was built in a way that it told you there's something happening at the end. Yeah. Because they didn't do a whole lot. And when Travis Scott came out, everyone said, oh, Dwayne's coming. Because that's what they did last year, right? Interference in the main event. And when people realized that he wasn't coming, the entire structure of the match then becomes a dud because it led you to nothing.
Yep.
That was the problem here.
1.75. Is this the lowest rated main event in that Dave?
I can't imagine.
Given?
No, I can't imagine because he used to be really brutal back in the day.
Okay.
So like I'm sure like King Kong Bundy and Hogan did not get 4 stars.
Yeah.
This was the wrestling version of edging. Getting you right to the end and fail.
Thank you for that edging reference.
Thanks, MG. Real classy.
He's been edging this whole day. Where's this
gooning?
Look at him. Look at this fucking gooner.
Don't let him. Don't stand up, MG.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see your Schmeichel.
No, we're not doing that.
Somebody probably does. So whatever. Again, it's a spectacle. And here's the other thing, right? Somebody asked me on Twitter, like, why does this not feel as big as it should have? WrestleMania,
right?
And I said, well, a lot of it is conditioning. They run stadiums year round now.
Mm-hmm.
They're running all these buildings year round. You can come see SummerSlam at MetLife this year. That's a WrestleMania building. So, what is the separation? Right? Like, is there any distinct separation now that one is SummerSlam, one is WrestleMania, and you're in gigantic buildings and they're big payoffs at these shows? So the thing that made WrestleMania, the culmination of the year, is kind of watered down by this because they're in large stadiums because the business is hot.
That honestly, like that's a really interesting perspective because you're right. There's no the argument on their side is there's no such thing as too big, right?
There's no such thing as too big, yeah.
But the WrestleMania thing is, I would have been happy with one night, but I think that's their bigness. They're like,
why
we
would
need
we?
2 nights of WrestleMania.
Yeah, because financially they can make so much money by doing a second night now. It's the same people coming and spending double the money, so they're able to tap in. The pricing for these tickets is astronomical, and then they've convinced everybody that, hey, it's not a one-night thing, it's a 2-night thing, and they're able to double the revenue. It's actually brilliant, and I don't think they'll ever go back to doing one night unless they have to. But even if they scale down and don't do these gigantic stadiums at 60,000 or 55,000, they can still do 2 nights. And I think that they can still make some money. The thing that makes WrestleMania special is the big presentation, and we get something close to it year round now. So I think that's what people are feeling. But as far as a main event went, this was not good.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. Batcher 3000 says, $1.99 super chat. What did Geek just say?
He's edging. He's an edger.
He's an edgehead.
He's an edgehead.
It's it's so big and like he's an edgehead. You have the you used to have that delineation between like, all right, this is the biggest show of the year, right? But then slowly it became, oh, and also SummerSlam is the biggest show of the year,
and also Money in the Bank is, and then also Royal Rumble, and also Saudi Arabia, and also Backlash if we're in another country.
Right, which is fine, but again, like it's I agree with you 100%. It's very interesting to see that like bigness, but to have the bigness. Yeah. Okay, here's a better question. What would you have preferred for the main event? Like the ending, book the main event.
I think Dwayne had to come out. Whatever they were doing, you had to culminate. And there was, I don't know what made sense here, but something should have happened.
He's not involved in Elimination Chamber. He's just not there.
Or if he was not involved in Elimination Chamber, you want to know how it should have gone? It should have gone with Cena being the babyface going into it, and Cody being the babyface going into it, and Cena turns in the match.
Yeah.
And what an FU. He sticks the finger to the crowd. He does, put a plant in the crowd. He knocks somebody in the crowd. He goes full on heel, destroys Cody.
Yeah.
Kills him. And that's your moment. And you say, oh my God, it happened. Right? Instead, we got The Rock involved in the same exact thing that they would have done just a couple months later, a couple months earlier, with no culmination because The Rock became the big story here.
Right, and you had Travis Scott also.
And you had Travis Scott for God knows what reason.
Which I feel like this is again, I don't poo-poo on wrestling, but sometimes it's just like, oh, really? Like what happened, right? Where you couldn't add that little magic of The Rock, right? Because having Travis Scott coming out,
so stupid,
was kind of it's not a dud, but like a bit of a letdown, right?
A very, very big letdown. Because you were anticipating, if he's there, then that means that Dwayne's also there.
Exactly,
Or you could have had the moment. You could have done it again where he comes out, he's costing Cody the match, and all of a sudden Austin's music hits, and here comes Austin, and you get a face-off between Austin and The Rock one more time. Austin and Rock, they're doing punches. Mm-hmm. They go for a rock bottom. He reverses it. They go for a stunner. He reverses it. Whatever. And then they bump heads, and that's it. You could have done that too if he was there. I gave you two finishes, the simple, keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Just, and then we got this.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, great weekend, but just like, it just didn't I agree with that 1.75. It just didn't do it, and I hate saying that. Because it was
your match of the... What was your guys' match of the weekend for Mania?
The triple threat, I thought could have closed out the show. The Rhea match was yours?
The Rhea match was mine, yeah.
Yes, mine too.
The Punk triple threat and the IC belt were my favorite matches of the weekend.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. Good night. See you later.
All right, we're done. Goodbye. Goodbye. John Cena did say he was going to ruin wrestling anyway, so
he did say that. Yeah, he did say he's ruining wrestling. So on Monday,
there you go.
On Monday, and this Raw on Monday was one of the better ones, the better Monday, Raw after Manias that we've had in a very long time. I can't remember the last time it was
only three matches.
Only 3 matches, but did it matter? No, it didn't really, because they did a great job here. Show opened up with John Cena coming out. He cut a great promo. Randy Orton comes, kills him. Also, he confessed he got a hair transplant.
I wanted to ask you about that.
I gave you the scoop on that, didn't I?
Did you point at the TV just like, do I know what I do?
I knew it, yeah, because I was counting his follicles. I could tell you how many grafts he got. Don't fuck
now.
With me
I missed
about
it.
The business.
Did he deliver that like a heel? Was he like?
He did. Yeah. He was like, you believe these fucking people? You made fun of me to the point that you bullied me to go get a hair transplant.
Wild.
Yeah.
So wild.
Yeah. So he got a hair transplant. So it looked good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Wouldn't a bald John Cena just make him a bigger heel?
Like bald and with a beard? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be fantastic. Randy Orton came, murdered him. So that we're back to that. Do you remember the
I'm
last
okay with
time?
that.
Do you know when the last time these guys were supposed to wrestle?
No.
The last time was supposed to be in 2012.
Wow.
And they announced the last time they'll ever face each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria lost the titles that they won. Becky turns heel on Lyra, beats her. Maybe this is foreshadowing what happens later. Io Sky celebration was interrupted by Stephanie Vaquer, who challenged her in a non-title match. And then here we go again. Julia comes in, attacks them. And with Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley will come out. So this was a lot of turns.
A lot of turns. Heel Julia, very interesting.
Very interesting heel Julia. I'm tickled by this. Gunther would come out on commentary. He choked out everybody. Tried to attack Michael Cole. He kills Pat McAfee. So maybe this is his send-off for a little bit. Seth Rollins,
great
Paul
Raw.
Heyman. Very good Raw. No wrestling, but good Raw. Seth Rollins comes out with Paul Heyman. CM Punk will come out, but would end up getting beat down by Seth. Then Roman comes out, who goes after Seth. And all of a sudden, he goes to do a spear. Here's Bron Breakker, spears the hell out of, or attacks. Did he spear him? He did spear him. Spears the hell out of Roman Reigns. He's joined the faction. Heyman stands there tall with Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins. Is this the new dangerous alliance? Everybody's saying evolution. Well, and I think it's age showing. Like,
right.
Like, no. This is like, maybe they're doing the dangerous alliance again. I don't see this as an evolution, but man, who's next?
Dangerous Alliance would be pretty cool. Who would you have to fill out that faction?
I would involve I would put Becky in there. I would put Becky in there, and you would need one more person.
Okay, so
I don't know who the other one should be.
Seth, Bron Breakker, Becky Lynch,
and who else?
Who would fit that mold of like a pissed off Paul Heyman guy?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, let's see what the chat says.
Carmelo Hayes, I think he would go good there.
Carmelo Hayes would be good. That's a good pick.
Oh, that's an interesting pick.
That's a good pick. Honestly, like, you know who kind of comes to mind who I think would be pretty excellent? Ethan Page.
Ethan Page. Oh, you bring him up in there.
Yeah. Bring him up in there.
Well, the draft's happening again, so maybe that's when this happens.
Chad Gable, maybe? Or
I don't know. People are giving some suggestions here. Pen Eater would be Ethan. Becky and Finn, maybe. But Finn's in a stable. I don't think you should go from a stable to a stable. I think whoever gets in there is going to have to be elevated.
Yeah, 100%.
Finn, another one for Finn. Maybe Finn. Okay.
All right.
Who else is a Paul Heyman guy? Maybe Lesnar comes in, too. Ooh, what if Lesnar's back?
There you go. Lesnar as the heavy. So
him and Bron Breakker as a tag team?
Him, Bron Breakker, Seth, and Becky, I feel like would be an insane squad.
Oh, my God. Maybe Drew. Drew would be a good one, too.
Drew would be, you know what? I wouldn't. I disagree with Drew.
Another one for Drew.
Oh, we got an Obafemi.
Obafemi, all
right. Karrion's doing, dude, I got to tell you, this Karrion Kross stuff from this weekend was the best work I've ever seen him do.
100%.
He looked incredible at Bloodsport. His promos are insane. Have you been watching those clips of his like wacky promos?
Yeah. He's going nuts. You know what it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? When they used to do that post SmackDown show with Renee.
Yeah.
And everybody would kind of show up. And people would show up and kind of go bananas, you know?
Yeah.
What about Miz?
Maybe The Miz. Yeah, maybe The Miz could go in there.
Or does that just make it automatically goofy?
Yeah, I think it makes it a little goofy. Let's go into Dynamite. The show opened up. So I tweeted that they have a new theme song, okay? It's Sum 41. It's a song by Sum 41. It's like Go to War, Let's Go to War. I don't know. I'm not a big Sum 41 guy. There's no theme. They don't play a theme. So I'm imagining this is coming next week. But Master P opens up the show because they're in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Who makes the entrance? Who makes it down and introduces the trios champions, the Ops. Make him say, "Oh," he was just doing that over and over again.
Yeah.
Master P. He's a philanthropist. Did you know that?
Yeah. Master P seems like a good dude, and he makes him say, "Oh."
Wasn't he supposed to play for the Charlotte Hornets? Didn't he like audition or try out for the NBA?
I was gonna say,
in as much as I'm going to be on the Knicks tomorrow.
The Death Riders music hits as Marina walks out alone, but it was a distraction. Jon Moxley, Claudia, and Wheeler Yuta attacked the ops from behind. Master P's left all alone in the ring with Moxley.
Who had a brief... Did you, when we were kids, were you like, this guy's, you did the Bret Hart. You were like, this guy's going to be in wrestling one day.
I mean, but the No Limit Soldiers were in WCW.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
They've done this already.
Yeah.
They did a face-to-face. Joe recovered and sank the Coquina clutch on Moxley. So this is becoming the match. It's Jon Moxley and
I'm with it.
Yeah, you know what? A great opponent for him to face in between going to All In. Swerve's music would hit.
On that 4-hour block show.
Yeah. The Young Bucks and Okada make it to the ring with chairs to save Moxley as Master P bailed. Swerve's music would hit. He would walk through the crowd. Joe recovered as Strickland hit the ring, and the Elite bailed into the aisles. Kenny's music then hits, and the Elite scurry away even more into the crowd. So I guess this is being the setup for Blood and Guts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%, right?
I mean, it looks it. Mark Briscoe beat Ricochet. Briscoe celebrated his victory, but Ricochet hit him with a chair. Pulled out the golden scissors and was about to use them until Kevin Knight rushed in. So Kevin Knight is being set up for a program here with Ricochet. Cool. Ricochet tries to attack him. And by the way, this was a decent Dynamite. I like this. The ratings were low, but honestly, I think people are so exhausted with wrestling right now. There was no other option. I think people skipped as much as they could. Ricochet tried to attack him, but Kevin Knight struck him with his right hand, knocking the scissors out of his grip, and he escaped to the back. So FTR returns from suspension with Stokely Hathaway, who is now representing them.
Right.
He says that he'll get their suspension expunged.
Yeah.
They would bring out the Rock and Roll Express to the ring.
I really like this.
And they murdered them.
Yeah.
FTR quickly attacked Gibson and laid out Morton with a spike pile driver. And who comes to the save? The Paragon, which is the new name for Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Cool.
So they made the save there, Paragon. All right. Cool.
Do you think the Rock and Roll Express have one more match in them?
Oh man, he did. You know, had they were wrestling at WrestleMania weekend, and they did the.
Oh, beautiful.
Ricky Morton did the.
Canadian Destroyer?
Yeah, he did a Canadian Destroyer. Yeah, he did a Canadian Destroyer. Fantastic stuff. Those guys, can't believe it. 345 years old. Still moving good.
Each of them 345 years old.
Not combined. The Young Bucks defeated Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. MJF tries to bribe this was good. MJF tries to bribe the Hurt Syndicate again, by offering him his sports car. What was it, a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
I believe it was, yeah.
Somebody said Corvette before. So the way that it works is that they voted again, and Shelton gave him the thumbs up, but Lashley kind of half in the middle. So he offered him his car. He's like, I'll give you the car if you give me a thumbs up. And Lashley gets in the car. They start the car. He's like, all right, good. Now you're going to give me the thumbs up, right? And he gives a thumbs down, and he drives away.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hysterical.
Takeshita and Josh Alexander defeated Will Ospreay and Brody King.
Great.
Another good showing for Josh Alexander. Jamie Hayter defeated Chris Statlander to advance to the finals. Mercedes would come out to the ramp, but wouldn't come down to the ring. AEW Collision Playoff Palooza this Saturday. AEW Women's World Eliminator title match. Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata. World Title Eliminator match. ROH Champion Bandito defends against Jarlistico. Tornado Tag match. Top Flight versus The Crew. FTR versus the Paragon. Swerve Strickland versus Blake Christian. Hologram returns. Roosh AR Fox and Anna Jay returns to action. AEW Spring Break. Beach Break. AEW Beach Break Dynamite and Collision will be 4-hour special as we reported. It'll take place May 14th where Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley go head-to-head for the title. That is the only match announced here.
I'm very happy that Joe is getting back in the title picture.
He's great, man. He's fantastic. Why not? Why not?
All right. Do you want to do some questions before we get out of here?
Let's do it. Let's do Q&A, boys and girls. Submit your questions in the chat room. We will do our best to answer them. You can ask us anything.
Ask us anything. Let's see. What do we have here? We have a super chat.
It was a Corvette, by the way, not a Lambo.
It was a Corvette?
Yeah.
It was a Corvan?
It was a Corvette.
My bad.
Corvan.
It was a Marcus Corvan?
Marcus Corvan?
So here's a good one. This is from the Pigeon King. Choose 5 wrestlers to play against the Knicks.
Oh, my God. John Gonzalez.
John Gonzalez.
Obafemi. The Undertaker.
And Yokozuna.
Yokozuna is starting, and Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Yeah.
Ball, though.
I got one. Big Bill. Put Big Bill in there. He was a basketball player for where did he play for? Cross or Malloy? He played for Malloy.
Yeah.
He's a good Queens boy.
NYC Demon Diva, fight me Zarian.
Dude, I one punch to my liver or kidneys and I'm done.
It'll just burst.
I'll just burst into uric acid crystals. I'll hit her with my club foot. With my deformed foot. You know what, Issa? Yeah, I'm just going to hold my deformed, swollen foot on you.
That's a finisher. Joel Allison, do you think there's a legit chance of AEW moving Collision to Thursdays permanently?
I would say that there's a big chance. There's a much larger chance when the NBA is gone because they're going to have that day open. Yeah. I think it's a possibility. You know, WBD, every time I've spoken to them, they're not set in stone with this Saturday thing.
Right.
So
would Tony be okay going head to head with NFL on Thursdays?
I'm going to tell you something. I
season?
don't. If you're an AEW fan, I think you're watching AEW.
For sure.
Got you.
You know, I don't know how much that affects it, and it's only 18 weeks of it. And not every week is going to play a big impact on you. I know he doesn't want to go against the NFL, but you know what? Saturdays is brutal. You're going up against UFC. You're going up against WWE. You're going up against pay-per-views.
College football,
college basketball. I mean, Saturday is a worse. I mean, if you're talking about competition, it's worse. Thursday, at least, it's kind of doable. And it changes your entire schedule. I think it's better for them as far as travel goes. And when they have pay-per-views, like they run Saturday pay-per-views and they got to move Collision. They got to cancel Collision.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Thursday's a much better night, but I do think there's a possibility.
We got a couple of good questions here. So let's take another super chat. This is from Paul Anthony Moss. Is AEW building to Anarchy in the Arena or Blood and Guts at Double or Nothing with the Ops, Swerve, Kenny versus Death Riders and Bucks? Keep seeing them all in the ring together. Absolutely, right? It would have to be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
All
it's
these guys
one
together.
Yeah.
I forgot
By the
about
way,
Anarchy
should I send Issa a picture of my disgusting foot?
Sure.
Oh.
That's what I'm gonna do, Issa. I'm gonna text you a picture of my grotesque foot.
She's blocking you. She's blocking you.
Just all day long. All day, I'm just gonna start texting her. Different angles, zoom in, zoom outs.
Please don't.
The toe.
What she said.
What time is your lunch? I'm gonna send it then.
Oh no. Is this from Good Doer? Is a month out too soon to finalize a tournament final between Mercedes and Jamie?
I don't know. It depends on how they build it. You know, it is leading to eventually. It is going to be Mercedes and Tony Storm eventually. You know, that's the big story here. So whatever they're doing here is this. You know.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is from Brian Dugan. This is a good question. What should WWE do about Alberto Del Rio being AAA champion?
Why were people posting that he got fired?
I don't know.
That was a fake count.
Yeah, why are they posting
fake
that?
Russell Votes count. Because someone doesn't like him. They're just
well, I mean, this is a good question because I do feel like there's the way my brain works is there was a Larry David music playing when they bought the company and they were like, wait, who's your champion?
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe they'll keep him there. Has he, changed his life?
Yeah, who knows?
He looks cool. I mean, I don't know what his current situation is.
Yeah. WWE also loves to give people second chances.
And third and fourth and fifth. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're happy with him. I know, listen, he said some crazy stuff about Hunter, so I don't think he's a big fan of him right now.
Yeah, exactly. And now somehow Hunter's now his boss.
Yeah. You know,
hey
he
guys,
looks unrecognizable. Really, he looks like a different person.
He does. Yeah. This is from Good Doer. Hey guys, do you think AEW's 4-hour block shows will hurt the momentum they've been building?
No, I think it's a fun exercise. You know, they don't want to miss a show. So instead, they're giving you a 4-hour block of Dynamite and Collision, and they're going to make it into like a mega show. I'm okay with that. Totally fine with that. I think it's experimental. I think that's fun. I think that's different. You know, if they commit to this and make this into a regular thing and it doesn't work, that's a whole different story. But to do it twice because of programming changes, it's fun. You know, it's a different concept. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but they'll find out.
Yeah. Brian Duggan. Another super chat. Do you think AAA releases Del Rio since WWE owns it?
I don't know. I don't know what they do. That's a good question, though. We'll find out soon enough.
But
or
also,
he'll just drops the title. I mean, maybe they'll let him stay there, but he'll drop the title. You know, I don't know.
Well, that if they fire him, that would feed into the whole monopoly thing of like now they're not letting this guy, you know, work or anything. You know, so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Millennial Noob. Do you see Asuka coming back as a heel since Becky Lynch is feuding with Lyra Valkyria and Liv Morgan in the women's tag division?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they have planned for. I haven't heard anything.
Well, haven't her and Kairi Sane been training together?
Yeah. So maybe they come back. They come back. Kairi looks incredible.
Right,
yeah.
She's in great shape.
She put on size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks great. So I don't know. Maybe they come back together.
This is Paul Anthony Moss. Has the Don Callis gotten too big now? Looked like a Royal Rumble in the ring on Wednesday when they all stood there.
Yeah. How many people? Who's in there right now? Takeshita, Josh Alexander,
Kyle Fletcher,
Mark Davis.
Yeah. Lance Archer
and Cage.
Right.
Yep.
Is the Callis family like the faction with the most longevity in AEW history?
Because
everything kind of fizzled out after like 6 months, like the original Jericho thing, the second Jericho thing,
I don't know,
the 2 MJF things. Probably them and the Death Riders, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they're all in it. It looks like that's it for questions.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, I think we could get out of here.
All right. Let's do it.
We can get out of here. All right, boys and girls. That was a lot of fun. Rich has to go. I have to go to the city. I have to go to my office. Have a wonderful weekend. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Later.